my goodness. Why, hello. Fancy meeting you here at the same time and day that we've been meeting for the last 2.5 months. You know what? Shh, it's a setup. Let's go with it. Welcome to another episode in Mediavine Summer of Live. I'm your host, Jenny Guy. What even is the Summer of Live? I'm so glad you asked. Our mission at Mediavine is helping content creators, that would be all of you in the lovely audience, welcome, helping you build sustainable businesses. And a big part of that mission is to provide free, easily accessible educational content. During the summer, that means that we go live once a week with different experts on any topic that will help you level up your business. So we started right after Memorial Day. So today, August 16th, is the 10th episode in our 5th Summer of Live. My, how time flies. And now that we're all on the same page, and possibly if you're with me, marveling that we are already halfway through August and on the back half of the year 2022, let's get to the topic of the day, which is video. Specifically, video at Mediavine and the different ways publishers can leverage it to maximize their end-of-year earnings and earnings anytime, really. Today, I am joined by two guests who may be first-timers on a live, but are already known to many as longtime superstars on our support team. Rose and Cristina, thank you for coming and welcome.
Thank you.
Hi. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to say some impressive things about you real quickly. So Rose Siders joined Mediavine first as a blogger in 2017 before quickly realizing that it was a company she wanted to become a part of. She was hired as a support specialist in 2018 and is currently the assistant manager of Premier Accounts. She lives in Minnesota with her husband, her dog, and 2 cats. When she's not at her computer, which isn't super often, you can find her with her nose in a book, painting rocks, or attempting a DIY project. And she is beyond talented. Guys, her rocks, they're next level. Her rocks rock, period. They're amazing. Rose, so glad that you're here.
Thank you.
And then plus, Christina Reyes started in publisher support in 2019 as a support specialist and is now a Premier Account Manager. She holds a BA in Business Administration from the Florida Institute of Technology and lives in Florida with her 3 children. Welcome, Christina.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, yeah. We're already getting love for the painted rocks and for Rose's bookshelf. So Sarah says she wants to see some painted rock inspo, which agree. And yes, Leah has, Rose has the bookshelf to end all bookshelf. Christina also has a beautiful setup. I'm very jealous of both. So we know that these ladies are killer at decor, but what they are also killer at is helping publishers earn. And they've been doing that for many years now. They have a ton of action-packed tips when it comes to video. And I'm so excited to talk to them both. Ladies and gentlemen in the audience, content creators, if you have questions for Rose or Christina about video at Mediavine, drop them into the comments. We will see if we can get to those. But to start out with, we start every episode in the Summer of Live and any live that we do here at Mediavine with a general question to get everyone on the same page. So let's start with Rose and then go to Christina on this one. Why is video important today for publishers? Why is it valuable?
So video is, one of the highest earning units. And the reason for that is because it's the highest CPM out of any of the ad units. And CPM, again, because we love our acronyms, is just the price tag that advertisers are paying for your ad impressions. So having a higher CPM means you're going to earn more per ad that's shown. And then, video, of course, has its SEO benefits, with video schema, getting your videos into Google search results and all that fun stuff. And really just, how people consume their content. Some people prefer to read, other people are more visual learners, myself included. So they like to have, the option to watch a video and instead of reading or in addition to reading.
Great answer. Same question to Christina. Why is video important?
Well, like Rose said, it has the highest CPMs, and also it's going to add value to your reader. Not every reader is the same. Some readers really need that video. For example, I'm not the best cook, so recipe instructions are not going to do much for me. Having the video with the process on how to do it is super valuable, and it's going to be more likely for me to go back to your site if you have one.
So like almost everything we encourage here at Mediavine, it has the dual impact. It has the one impact, which is that advertisers pay premium for video advertisements. And two, it's also something that's going to increase your readers' experience, your audience's experience. Readers are not reading your videos, but your audience's experience. So we're giving that double dip. And I think Sarah just said, I'm cracking up. Perhaps there's a video about painting rocks, say. Well, you have your marching orders.
There might be.
Oh, nice.
I might have one. I might have one or two.
I don't even know. I want to watch it. Okay. So we're getting the double dip, the amazing payout from advertisers, plus the audience experience, plus then the triple dip of the SEO, which comes from created video that is by the publisher. But we've got some tricks up our sleeves because, as we all know on this call and everyone that's watching, video is expensive sometimes and really difficult to produce with everything else that publishers are worrying about. So starting with Rose, how has video changed over the course of these past 2 years, like globally for content creators a little bit, but mainly focusing on Mediavine?
So if you've been around as a Mediavine publisher for a minute or two, you will know that our video recommendations have changed a lot. And that's partially because, best practices with Google has changed and we always try to align with those. But there's been changes as far as, the SEO side of things. And then there's been changes on the earnings side of things as far as like what is the best practice, what's recommended and all that. And so the primary change that we've seen is just the differences in technology and like the new technology that we've developed to optimize video earnings.
Okay. So as everything else in the content creation industry, things change pretty quickly in our industry. The only constant is change. So, Cristina, what specific changes in VA have you noticed in the past couple of years?
Well, definitely the universal player has been pretty much a game changer for a lot of publishers. Some publishers who don't have video or don't have a lot of video have really got to see some amazing revenue increases. Also, publishers who even have video and have been doing video for years are actually seeing their revenue increase from video ads. So that's been pretty exciting.
We're never going to argue with more money. That's never going to be something that we hate upon. So again, just for anybody that's just joining us specifically, we had Sonia just join us. She said, what blogs are they running and what they're about? My guests today are Rose Siders and Christina Reyes. They are from the Mediavine support team, and we are talking about video today. So to pull us here, Christina brought up the universal player. I wanted to know if anyone in the audience, Mediavine publishers, are you running the universal player? Tell us if you have it on or not. And if you do have it on, how has it impacted your monetization? So we'll ask that. And then Cristina, what are some of the common questions you guys are currently getting from video from our publishers?
I think a common misconception is that the universal player will play your video. That's a separate standalone unit. It's just going to play video ads. And we also have the Mediavine video player that's going to play your video. If a reader clicks to play your video, the universal player will disappear.
Okay. So love that explanation. Can we rewind just a little bit more? What is the universal player? Can we just give a quick synopsis there?
Yeah, the universal player is just a video ad player. So you just switch it on in your dashboard and it will just play a video ad. It's going to probably make up the most of your video ad revenue. The videos that you produce, that you embed in your posts is going to be supplemental to the universal player income.
Amazing. Rose, anything to add to that on universal player?
I think the easiest way to explain it is that it's like an outstream ad that you would see, an outstream video ad that you would see in the body of your content. Like sometimes when you're scrolling through and you see an in-content ad that's a video, that's kind of the same thing as what the universal player looks like, but it's a pop-out player, similar to the embedded video player.
So to put it into terms that work for me, we have the video player that is when publishers are creating their own video, and that exists on its own. And then we have
Right.
the universal player, which is you don't have to create any videos, but you still are getting advertisers to run video on your site.
Correct.
That's cool.
Yep. And you can have both.
Right. Christina started to go into that a little bit more, and I want to talk more about that because I think that's where I start to get a little bit boggled is,
Okay.
so is universal player running over my own videos? How does that work?
So what we generally recommend is to keep autoplay turned off. So you're not going to have two video players playing. If you do have autoplay turned on, the universal player will not come on. But since the universal player does so much better than autoplay video, we just recommend keeping it off, and you'll just have that outstream video playing on your site. Another thing to keep in mind is that if you have your video in your post, right, you embed your little recipe video in your post. If a reader clicks to play your video, you're not going to have to worry about two players at the same time, because the universal player automatically disappears when you press play on that video.
Okay, so Leah just asked this question. Thank you. That is really making sense. She just said, I never knew the difference between the two. Now I understand why I see two video ads running. But the truth is, so if the universal player is there, and that's running, the audience, the person visiting your site has to make the choice to click to play that video. That's the only time that it's going to actually play. And then automatically when someone clicks to play that video that you've created, that post-specific video, hopefully the universal player will go away, because the highest of all CPMs are when an audience is clicking to play, choosing to watch your video. Is that right?
That's correct.
Right,
Yes.
right. You're going to get the higher CPMs with click to play.
Fantastic. So this is more than like double dipping. This is like a whole Sunday because you're getting everything here.
Yeah.
Rose, will you give us a rundown of what publishers that are listening need to do now? If they don't have universal player on, if they have some of their own videos, what are the recommended settings here?
So I would immediately turn on universal player. Easy win. It's like 20 to 30% of the revenue on most sites when it's enabled. So you'll want that on. Yeah, it's really fantastic. Like you were saying, the CPMs do go up for the click to play videos, but a lot of readers just don't click as often as we would like them to.
Sure.
So the universal player kind of makes sure that you're getting that automatic revenue, and then the option of the clickable video is there. So you want to have the universal player on. You'll want to disable autoplay on mobile and desktop, and that is what allows the universal player to run and take priority. So making sure you have those settings situated.
And that is all a little bit complicated, but not too much. So we're going to have that help doc for sure. The recommended video settings linked in our roundup of everything that we share at the end. I know my team is on that. We will make sure that's there. Okay. Sarah said, I just checked my dashboard and wow, yes, the universal player is making me a lot of revenue. Amazing. Sarah, I'd be interested to know, do you run post-specific videos ever? Do you have a blend of the two? Okay, we have some questions from people in the group, and this is an SEO question, so it's a little off topic, but we said, you mentioned that videos help with SEO. I embed videos, but I've never seen them show up in any Google settings. You said schema. What should I be putting in there? That's Lauren Noel.
Christina, do you want to take that one, or do you want me to take it?
You want to make sure that you have schema turned on in your video embed. Sometimes there's a setting to disable schema, and you don't know if you should check it or not. Make sure that schema is enabled and it's not disabled. The support team's always happy to help dig in and see why your videos are not showing up in Google. But generally, Google does what it wants, so you can have everything checking all the boxes and the video is just not showing up in Google, and that will be on Google. But if there's any technical issues, we could definitely help with that.
I would add to that too, if you have a recipe post, you want to have the video embedded in the recipe card where possible, because that's where that schema is going to come from.
Right.
This is, okay, Leah, we've got a follow-up there. Where do we check if schema is enabled or disabled? Would it be on the page where we upload the video in Mediavine in the dashboard?
So on the video upload page, when you're grabbing that code, there's going to be some checkboxes whether to enable or disable schema. So, and then in the embed code is going to have schema enabled or disabled. If you can sort out the code and see if it's enabled or disabled, you could look at that, or you could just copy a fresh code that makes sure that the schema is enabled.
Anything to add, Rose?
I can't remember what it's called now. The feature, they changed the name of it. It used to be a structured data tool, and now it's called something else.
Yeah, it's in the
I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, you can copy the URL of the post into that tool, and it will tell you whether or not schema is enabled and whether or not there's any other errors or issues with the schema. So it'll make sure that you're outputting schema properly. If you search structured data testing tool, what were we
is the
gonna say?
rich results test.
Thank you. Rich results.
Yeah.
They changed the name of it a while ago, and it's still stuck in my head as that. But yeah, rich results tool. You just put any URL for any of your posts in there, and it will check all that stuff for you.
Awesome. Okay, so if Universal Player is so much of revenue and it's doing so well and performing so well, is there a point in continuing to create original video content for our publishers? Is it wasting time? Cristina, will you start and then Rose hop in?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to add some value to your readers, right? Like I mentioned with the recipe posts, like I need those videos, otherwise my recipe is going to come out like a disaster and it will not do your recipe justice. Also, our recommendations are changing constantly. It's always evolving, so you never know, you might need that video in the future.
That's good feedback. Again, with the change, we don't know. Things could go haywire at any time. Rose, same question to you. Why?
Sure. Yeah, things change constantly. So definitely with what Cristina said, it could be a shift in the recommendation again. You never know. We talked a little bit about SEO. We talked about value to the reader, best practices changing and stuff like that. So it's still really good to have that video content, and to kind of loop in your followers from other social media platforms too. Just to kind of provide video as an option.
That actually was going to be what I was going to add on to it, is that creating that video that is specific to the post, you can use that anywhere. And there is no question about the fact that on every social media platform and within Google and the other search engines, they're prioritizing original video content. From my understanding, what the Universal Player was meant to substitute was the need to create a slideshow style video that may not be relevant to that post in order to get those, in order to be able to take advantage of those high paying video CPMs. Now you don't have to do that. But if there is a way for you to create that awesome post specific content that's relevant and adds value to your audience, you can. So, and should, because it's not only good for your earnings on Mediavine, it can be repurposed all across in your various platforms. So yes, it's good if you can. We just created another option for you for when you can't, on the posts where you can't do it.
It's nice to be able to have the Universal Player on there right off the bat and have that earning you money while you're deciding how you want to do your other video, or like if you can only afford to do a few things at a time, or you just don't have the time in your day. You don't have to necessarily rush out and create video for every single post. You can run the Universal Player and then do the video as you have time.
Do you guys have any recommendations of prioritizing where to create those videos? We know it's a lot of resources, but how would you strategically, like, let's say you're like I have 300 posts. Okay. That's a lot of posts and I cannot make 300 videos tomorrow. So what would you recommend that I do? Cristina, can you help there?
I would probably focus on the posts that are getting the most traffic and the most traction. So those are going to be where I would probably put my energy first, is posts that are already popular. And also just look at your site like a reader. Like, would a video be very useful here? Because sometimes it's very hard to explain into words. It might be easier to show a reader what you're talking about. Maybe with Rose and her rocks, it's probably a lot more difficult to explain like how to make a Batman rock than to show it. So that's the only example I can think of right now. But yeah, that's just look at your site like a reader would look at your site.
I'm gonna say Rose Rocks is probably like a great brand name and needs to be a company probably immediately. So Rose, anything to add to that? How would you strategically go about creating video?
I completely agree with Christina. Definitely start with your top performing content. Look for anything that would provide value to the reader as far as like a tutorial or a step-by-step process, anything that's going to be a little more complicated. And I would also add to that, the next thing I would do after doing like the top 10 or 20 or however many you're comfortable doing, also look at the stuff that's going to be trending in the upcoming quarter, especially with Q4 coming up. You probably have a lot of holiday content from previous years that hasn't been updated recently. So while you're in there updating the content or, making new pictures, whatever, creating video for those Christmas cookie recipes or the Halloween decorations or whatever, and kind of anticipating what's going to be coming up, in the coming months.
We actually have a really great challenge called the Content Upgrade Challenge. We talk a lot about how we provide worksheets in there that make it really easy for you to go the quarter ahead, pull your posts that are high performing. Mm-hmm. And like Rose said, coming up for the next quarter, now's the time to be making all of that content, all that video content for all of your holiday seasonal. Get your bats out, get your pumpkins out, start doing that now, get your turkeys, get everything going so that you can dominate on social media and with your website. Okay, one, Floppy Cats really, really loves the color coordinated books in the background, which like Floppy Cats, same. Rose Rocks, right back there.
Thank you. Good. Glad you like it.
How could you not? Maeve says, can you confirm, did you say disable autoplay first mobile video and autoplay first desktop video?
Yes, if you're turning on Universal Player.
Yep.
Okay.
Universal Player first. Also, keep an eye on your dashboard. Generally, most like 90% of the time, the Universal Player is going to always do better than autoplay video. But there are a few edge cases where that's not the case, depending on your audience, etc. So always keep an eye on your dashboard with any change that you make. But yeah, if you have autoplay video turned on, I would recommend turning it off, and turning on the Universal Player is going to make a big difference in your revenue.
Thank you, Christina. And I also, Christina and Rose both taught some courses in a Mediavine University course that came out that taught some modules in there for growing traffic. And Christina talked a lot about using data to make your decisions. So can you go a little bit deeper into what you mean by watch your dashboard? Because I think a lot of people watch their dashboard every morning and I see how much I earned and that's awesome and I'm excited. But can you talk about intentionally? Oh, cat alert.
Saw that.
Yeah, that's a good question. And it's actually something that a lot of publishers will get confused on. They'll keep an eye on their RPM, see an RPM drop and panic because they just made a change a couple days ago. You'll want to look specifically at your video. The dashboard has everything broken out by ad unit. You're going to want to compare the time period since you turned on the Universal Player to the same time period in the previous week. So if you turn it on Tuesday, Wednesday, compare with the previous Tuesday, Wednesday. I hope let me know if I'm going too far into the weeds on
no, that's exactly what I was asking for.
Tuesday, Wednesday to the previous Tuesday, Wednesday, and look at your video revenue compared with your Universal Player revenue. You can see it broken out by RPM. If the Universal Player has a higher RPM than video, then you're doing good. And that's what you're going to see most of the time. Few edge cases where the Universal Player does not perform as well as the video, but like I said, that's very rare. But I want to add that caveat for those one or two publishers where that might happen.
And it's good practice, best practice for any time you're going to make a settings change, right?
Any change to your site, if you change your font size, if you change your layout, if you change your layout, definitely send us an email. But any change you make whatsoever to your site, it's always a good idea to keep an eye on things following that change so that you can make sure that it's not going sideways.
You're making those data-driven decisions.
Yeah.
Our friend Floppy Cats say that the reason why the cat is now on the screen is because your cat heard Floppy Cat.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What happens? Speak their name and they shall appear. Okay. So we have some people making recommendations. Leah says, I've been using Lumen AI to make videos so much easier than Adobe Spark or iMovie. Another tip out there for those who are interested in creating some of their own original video content. Sarah says she's used Canva and liked how easy that was as well. So lots of options out there today. Are there any that we're missing? We've got Lumen AI, we've got Canva. Are there anything else that you guys have heard publishers talk about?
We used to use Animoto. I thought that was easy, user-friendly video slideshow maker. Any that you could think of, Rose?
No, I was going to say Animoto too. That's probably the main one. That and Lumen 5, I think, are the two that I hear of the most often. But there are definitely other options out there that are free or very inexpensive to create.
Options are good. Try out a couple. See what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in terms of different styles, we were talking about this, and this is a great segue when we're talking about the different options out there, programs for producing video. What is a slideshow video versus what is a produced video? Rose, Christina, great.
I'll take it. A slideshow video is just going to be just photos and some words playing to some music. Produced video is going to be like an actual video that you film. If you're filming, if you have a recipe, you're going to film the entire process of making the recipe. There's value in both. Especially, it depends on your audience and the type of post that you're writing. But as long as it has value to your reader, if you think that slideshow is going to be helpful to that post, then I would say it's no better than, or no worse or no better than produced video.
Rose, anything to add there?
Just that, the key thing is the value to the reader. Having a slideshow that's just, a picture of raw chicken and then a picture of a tomato, probably isn't going to be super beneficial to the reader. But having a slideshow video that, illustrates like a packing list of like things to pack for a trip to Berlin or whatever, or like a picture in a slideshow video that shows, a particular technique of how to cut the chicken or whatever, like stuff like that. So as long as it has value to the reader and it's not there just for the sake of having video, either one can be good. Typically a produced video is going to provide a little bit more value just because it's, a little bit more than just pictures, but you can make value with the slideshow videos. And if you don't have anything to add with video, that's where Universal Player comes in. You
can also take that slideshow video to the next moment. For instance, if you're talking about the best knives for cutting raw chicken and you're wanting to show pictures of the different knives and all that, you can go beyond just the text on the screen. We've now gotten to where you can do voiceovers, which can be really helpful for your audience in terms of connecting. So there's a lot of options out there. And again, just like our industry, that industry is changing dramatically all the time. I think the biggest one to me that's been so shocking is how much LinkedIn has prioritized video and short video content, and all of the places that are coming in, they're all trying to be TikTok now.
Pinterest.
It's crazy.
Instagram. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was going to add to that too. Like you can do like a snippet of a video in the slideshow where, you don't necessarily have to have a whole big, hands and pans production, but maybe you have like a 3-second snippet of, a particular technique. You can put that into a slideshow format with photos, and kind of enhance the slideshow video to be a little bit more, beneficial.
That's an awesome idea. Okay, got a couple of different questions that we're going to go to, but first, before we move on to that, is there a difference in the monetization potential between a slideshow video and a produced video? Christina?
As long as the video is adding value to the post and to the readers, there wouldn't be a difference. If you're just making a slideshow video for the sake of making a slideshow video, it's probably not going to add a lot of value to your readers, and thus the advertisers are not going to be excited about it. And also any video that, because now we're prioritizing the universal player, we're not auto playing anymore. Anything that will make your reader click to play it is going to work. And sometimes slideshow videos work for that purpose. Like example that Rose mentioned with travel sites having the packing lists, I would probably be inclined to click on it. So, yeah.
So the goal, which is the goal we always want, is to make your audience love it and want to click it with whatever the video is. You want to make it something that engages. Okay. Rose, does the universal player automatically play your video one after the other one once the ads play in the universal player?
So that is not the universal player. That would be like up next, would be what that is considered, where it's like, you know, an ad and then your video and then another ad and your video, which is still an option, but it doesn't monetize as well as just the universal player. The universal player does not play any of your video content at all. It's just like kind of a reel of video ads, which is why it earns really well, because it's, you know, one ad after another without having, you know, a minute or two of video in between. But still allows your reader to click on your video, in which case they would get an ad and then the video.
So totally separate. We're doing post-specific videos. We don't have the autoplay anymore, which is what we were talking about. So if universal player goes on, autoplay goes off. They're separate. And all we're doing, emphasizing now with your created video content, is the click to play option.
Correct. Yep. And the up next feature goes away with the autoplay. So when you turn off autoplay, you're also turning off up next.
Fantastic. All right. Christina, can we address a single Mediavine video versus a playlist that you would embed in a post?
Sure. Single video, Mediavine video is just going to be a video specific to that post. Like if you have a recipe for peanut butter cookies, that recipe video is going to be peanut butter cookies. Now, playlist will be relevant videos to that post. So there's going to be maybe a video for how to make the peanut butter for your cookies, and there's a video for how to make the flour for if you're really like gonna.
I'm a freaking homesteader, and I'm gonna make my own peanut butter. I'm gonna mill my own flour. I milk at the house.
How to churn the butter for these cookies? That's going to be included in that playlist.
It's a really involved peanut. It took me probably like 2 weeks to make these peanut butter cookies, but they're so good. I don't want to knock it. I'm sure someone out there does it and they're amazing.
Yeah.
Rose, Allison says, can we embed videos, like repurposing stuff we have already created vertically for social that complements a blog post? Does that even matter if you embed a horizontal video versus vertical?
To a degree, like it'll make it a little bit larger, but we do have settings in the dashboard where you can check what orientation the video is, what, you know, is it a square, is it a vertical video, whatever. So when you upload it, you want to make sure that you're checking the correct option for that. And then as far as performance, I don't think it really makes a huge difference. It's definitely great to be able to kind of upcycle and repurpose that content and not have to reinvent the wheel every, you know, I don't need to make a separate video for YouTube and a separate video for whatever. The only thing I would say with that is that if you're going to take a video from one platform, like a social media platform, and put it on your site to use the Mediavine embeds versus like YouTube or whatever. And then also making sure that you're not embedding like a 10-minute YouTube video, because readers just don't use your site the same way that they're going to use, you know, a YouTube channel. So kind of taking that same content and editing it down to be a little bit shorter is probably best practice if you're going to repurpose video.
That actually leads right into another question that we had here, which is for people that are wanting to prioritize YouTube and growing their channel, and they already have the videos uploaded on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. Christina, is there a way to get the best of both worlds here, or do you need to pick a lane? Do you need to choose a side?
No. We have publishers. It's good to use as many platforms as you can. I have a publisher that's actually trying to explore. Rose, you were there when they were exploring Twitch. They were exploring putting video on Twitch. Yeah. So any platform is you know, where you could just spread the word of your brand is not a bad idea. Like Rose said, if you're going to use YouTube videos on your site, we recommend using the Mediavine video player. It's much lighter for your website. And also the CPMs are going to be higher when your readers click to play.
Fantastic. And they can also then, if people are loving what they're seeing, we have a way to drive people to their YouTube channel, which they can then go and subscribe if they want to. So is that still available in the dashboard and something people can do?
Yeah, at the end of the video, there's going to be a what do you call that?
Call to action.
Call to
Call to action.
Yeah, there's going to be a call to action where you can put the details of your YouTube channel, and it'll take your readers there.
So make the money, the awesome CPM from a click-to-play video, the original video content that you're creating, and then send them on over. If they love your video content, they're already intentionally choosing to watch it. Maybe they want more. Now they can head on over and subscribe to your YouTube channel or wherever else that you're running it. Okay. Great question from Sarah Rose. What is the optimal video length for Mediavine videos?
So that's something that's changed a couple times. I think right now we're looking at like 45 to 90 seconds max. If you look at your analytics, it'll tell you like how long the average session duration is and how long people are on your site. It's typically a lot shorter than most people think. You know, like you can get away with having a 10, 20-minute video on YouTube or having, you know, a 30-minute Facebook Live or whatever. But having, you know, a shorter video on your site is going to be better because readers aren't actually on your site. Usually, I think the average for like a lifestyle or recipe blog is like 1 to 2 minutes max. So you want to, if you're going to do video on your site, you want to make sure that you're not doing these super long videos because people are number one, probably not going to stick around for the whole thing. And if they do, it would be better for them to view 2 videos versus one longer one because you're getting, number one, they're getting exposed to more of your content. And number 2, they're getting an ad and then the video and then another ad and then the second video. So you're getting a little bit more revenue, but you're also exposing them to more of your content and increasing the likelihood that they're going to click around a little bit.
And paying attention to how they're using your site. If that makes sense. You said go look at the analytics. Are you talking about Google Analytics or the Mediavine dashboard, or where can I find
Correct. That particular information would be in your Google Analytics. Yeah, it would be under session duration, which is usually on one of the first overview pages under audience, I believe.
Okay, so we're going into Google Analytics. We're looking at session duration and how long people on Floppy Cats loved that recommendation. Good idea to first look at how long people on average are on your site. Man,
it's usually pretty surprising. A lot of people seem to think that it's much longer than it actually is, and they'll, you know, we've had people write in and they're like, "Oh no, people are only on it for a minute." I'm like, "That's actually pretty common. You know, like don't worry about it. It's not a bad thing. Like obviously you want them to be on there longer where possible, but it's not. You're not doing anything wrong if it's like 1 to 2 minutes."
You also want to make sure that the video is at least 30 seconds long. Some advertisers will not advertise on a video too short. So
correct.
Make it short, but not too short.
There's a happy medium there, and we definitely want to find it. One of the things you were saying is keeping people on your site a lot longer, and this is a little off script and not as related to video, but we've had a lot of great results with Grow and getting people to get that second click, which is something that is available to all publishers, not just Mediavine publishers. Do either one of you talk a little bit about some of the features that Grow has that get you going towards that second click?
I can, if you don't want to. Either way. So recommended content is one of the things that I like about Grow a lot because it's going to pull content. It's not necessarily related content, which is something that a lot of people tend to expect, is that it's going to be just related posts, but it's not. It actually has like AI built in to learn what a reader is most likely to be clicking on. So it actually gets smarter with the recommendations as it goes on. There's a carousel up at the top, the recommended content down at the bottom. It'll suggest, you know, different content to the visitor. So hopefully to keep them on things a little longer.
You're scrolling through, they're reading the first article, they're like, it will pop up and recommend, hey, you might be interested in this. And then you can just get that second click. They're on longer. You're increasing the chances of them doing things like signing up for your email list, sharing something on social media that you've created. There's all sorts of different options when you get them to last a little bit longer, get that session duration up, get that second click, all good things. Okay. we've reached the end of our time together, which is poopy, but also means action items. Okay. Oh my goodness. Allison just threw the question of all questions out, and I can't ignore it. It's here. Allison, you found my Achilles heel. What is Grow? I missed that. Is it a feature in Mediavine? Christina, can you give a little overview of what Grow is, please?
Yeah, Grow is a user engagement suite. You can enable it in the dashboard. It's currently in beta. This comes with a whole host of features that for your readers. It has there's a really popular feature called Spotlight Subscribe. So instead of a pop-up email opt-in, it's just really cool. You could like I don't even know how to describe it. It just like makes everything dark around the opt-in.
It kind of highlights it.
Right, it highlights it. Yeah.
Spotlight. It spotlights it.
It's not intrusive. Readers can just scroll past it if they're not inclined to subscribe to your email. And it's probably the most popular feature in Pro. Like Rose was speaking about, the recommended content that's going to keep readers on your site longer, clicking around. Yeah, there's just a lot of features that will add value to your readers.
Exclusive content.
Yeah, there's some
big one now.
Have a nice list of features that Grow offers.
Grow is it's a little hard to describe. You can't really do a succinct description because it's so loaded with features. But the overall point of it. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, the most important thing is that you can collect first-party data, which advertisers will use to personalize their ads. So this can increase your CPMs over time.
Yes, Grow has so many great different attributes to it that really are, but basically it's a bunch of tools in a pretty toolbox that are free that you can use to not only make audience stay longer on your site, but come back more. So it's just increasing that relationship. Yes, we just had a question. Who's using Grow out there? Let us know. We've got some Grow evangelists in the comments. We want to hear how it has changed your site and improved things for you and given you a stronger relationship with your audience. We'd love to hear it. All right, Allison, is there a page where we can read more? Yep, we can absolutely give you more on that, and we will drop you some hints and some different articles to read. Plus, there's always places to reach out. We have a great army of documents for you to read and explore, determine that it's a mix and match kind of feature thing where you can say this feature and this feature, I'm going to start here and then experiment, see what works for you and your audience. Okay, back to our topic at hand. I'd love to finish out every episode here. We always do with action items. So what do Mediavine publishers need to do now to get themselves set up for top earnings with video, both in Q4 and then beyond? I'm going to give you guys a second. I'd love an action item from each of you. I'm going to come right back. I'm going to tell you that the next Summer of Live is also the last Summer of Live for 2022. It's next Tuesday, August 23rd. We'll be here, same bat time, 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central. And my guest is going to be, could it be anyone else, CEO Eric Hochberger of Mediavine. What are we talking about? We're going to talk about everything. We're going to talk about anything and everything that you guys want. So whatever questions you have about earnings, we have a new course offering for Mediavine University that for Mediavine publishers that he's going to be here talking about. We can talk about Grow. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. And he will be here. We're always excited about that. Rose and Christina, this has been so very informative and helpful. Christina, let's start with you. What do we need people to do now to get themselves set up?
To do now, go to your video settings and turn on the universal player, turn off autoplay. That's going to, if you don't have that already turned on, it's going to make the biggest difference in your earnings. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Turn on the universal player. It's like a game changer, seriously.
Easy money button.
Money button. We love money buttons. Rose, same question to you.
Everybody's always looking for the easy money button, and usually it doesn't exist. But in this case, this is the mythical easy money button that everybody's been looking for. So Christina took the best one, but my suggestion, if you do have video embedded in your content, embed it in the recipe card if there is one. It's a little bit more involved than just hitting the universal player button, but that'll make sure that you have the recipe card schema or the video schema for the recipe card, and you can turn off the auto optimized placement if you want to, because then the video will actually be in the recipe card when your reader goes to get to it. But you can also leave it on, which will allow the reader to click to play higher in the post. So both are options.
Okay, great tips. First stop is dashboard to make sure that you are checking your settings. We are going to be dropping the links to our link roundup, which will have everything that Rose and Cristina have been talking about, further information about all the things that we've been discussing, so you guys can follow up with that. And then, of course, if any Mediavine publisher has a question, there's always another option to have. Rose, can you let them know?
Yes, we are always answering emails. publishers@mediavine.com, and one of us or someone else from the support department, because there's like 50 of us now, will be able to answer for you. It's a lot of us. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, ladies, so much for being here. Audience, thank you for, of course. Let's do it again. Let's have some more. I want to see what the evolution of the bookshelf. You've set a really high standard. We're going to have to come back, and I want to see, bring rocks. Yes, of course, Rose rocks.
You can see more of this bookshelf in the Mediavine University course too, because it's featured there as well. Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yes. Plug for Mediavine University. All right. Thank you both so much for coming. We will have you back soon. Everybody, thank you for coming and being here. We hope we are providing the content that you need to take your business to the next level. And next week, come back. It will be our Summer of Life finale with Eric Hochberger. Everybody have a wonderful day, and thank you.